For project 17, we're going to look at the more traditional way of drawing a flat by using a silhouette. So we're going to start by pulling out a ruler for the center, add a new layer. And this is where you want to draw with your pen tool. Make sure you have a black stroke and no fill. And we're going to create a pair of pants for a flat. And just like the jacket, we're only working at half of the body, and then we will reflect what we're doing. Shift C will get you to the change anchor point tool if you need to make any straight lined curves. And then join, after you're copied, join at the crotch and join the waist. And then again, Shift C switches to my convert anchor point, and I can now create a slight curve at the waist. After that, you want to copy and paste this curve in front, just the line. And then curve it up to show the back of the pants. Now by selecting this from the clipping board again, so another copy in front, now do the bottom of the waistline. Use the scale tool to change the size of it, or scale it manually with the select tool. If you now select the shape builder, you can create a shape for the back pants. You want to make sure the three shapes are the different shapes of the pants are actually different shapes on your flats too, because this will help you later when you're coloring it, because assigning different colors will then tell your seamstress and your pattern making that there are different pieces for them on the pattern, or that something is behind and actually showing the back view of your garment. You can give these pants 3 different colors just to make sure that you actually have 3 different shapes. And then now we're going to add the top stitching to our pants. So after you have offset the line, you're going to set the weight to 0.5, and then the dash to 1.6, and the gap to 0.7. Now these units are specific for this assignment. I prefer different units for my stitches, so some of it is what you end up using where you're working. Your company may have set rules for it, or if you work for yourself, you're probably going to figure out what looks best at your work. And then I'm going to make this single stitch a graphic style. That way it's going to be easy for me to use and reuse and apply in different places. I also want to extend it out slightly so it goes to the edge of the pants. And then put all your stitches in its own layer. Having good layer management always helps when you have to edit your artwork, especially if you work for a corporate office. A lot of times you may be the one that's creating the flat, but someone else is doing the editing of it, or maybe it's a style that's being reused in another season and you're not necessarily at that place anymore, so someone else needs to work on it. I'm going to delete my ruler so I can see better. And then we're going to create 2 brushes. We need a bar tack, which is a tight stitch that's also often used at the bottom of fly zippers and belt loops, and we also need a double stitch. Make sure the caps on these 2 stitch lines are rounded. And now for the bar tack, going to zigzag. And then use the invisible back boundary box to make sure that the beginning and the end of your tab is lining up. You can now draw your fly zipper and apply your double stitch brush to it. Scale it, maybe change the spacing some to make it match up with your other stitches. Make sure you're in the stitch layer. Once you finish the fly, you want to do the stitch details on one of the pant legs, and then later on we will copy and paste that to the other pant leg. This line right here is called the crotch line, and that indicates that the pants are sewn at the crotch level as well. So we're going to add our inseam. You also want to add a hem as well as your pockets. For the pockets, you can draw a straight line and then use your corner tools to make it round, or you can draw a round or a curved line from the beginning. Offset this path, create your stitches. Delete the lines that you do not need. As you see, I'm using the eyedropper a lot to get my stitches, but you can also select the stroke and then go into your graphic styles and add it from there. Now for the belt loops, similar idea as the other things. We'll make one and then we will copy and paste it to add to more places. And then we're going to create the grommets. So in your swatch library, you have metal swatches. And those ones are very useful to get the right hues of your metals. I'm using a gradient to give it the shine of metal. And then now when I have a button or a circle that I like, I'm going to copy and paste in front and then just scale it down. You can also use offset if you want to. Once you have your grommet down, turn it into a symbol so it's easy to reuse. Again, by keeping them labeled accurately, it's going to help you as you build your library of different buttons, different grommets, and that sort of things. And now before I copy it, I'm just going to add the hem at the bottom. It looks like I lost some of my selections, so I'm going to select those two that I'm missing and reflect again. You can also copy and paste and do it that way. Then now we're going to add the coin pocket to our wearer's right side. When you're creating flats or writing tech packs, you're always going to refer to the wearer's left or right side. So it is opposite from what you see on the screen, but you want to create things with the person who's going to wear it in mind. So we put coin pockets on the right side because most people are right-handed. Just the same way as we put side zippers on the left side because most people are, again, right-handed, so it's easier to zip on the left side. So you're always referring to the wearer's left or right side. Now, if this were to stay a flat, you would actually want to turn it back to black and white. That's what our traditionally our flats are made in. They should always be black and white. We're gonna move on in the tutorial and actually add a color or fabric swatch to it. That's what we would refer to as a float. So when you're drawing flats, they're black and white. And then when you are using making floats, they're going to be colored. I'm also adding the button from our previous project, or the buttonhole, and the grommet that we created. But for floats, they can be very useful for your portfolio to have both flats and floats showing the different color variations that, for example, a pair of pants comes in. It creates a nice visual representation, and it's really not that much more work once you have your flats done, since it's just an easy fill. So you're gonna load your denim square, embed it, and turn it into a swatch, and then add it as a fill. As you see, our scale is not right here, so I'm going to select them and then select the scale tool, and if you open it up, you can select transform pattern at the bottom. you can now scale only the pattern. You can see how now the denim fits the size of our work. And then we're going to add some rips and tears using different artistic brushes. So find some brushes that you think might work, that you think look good, and then distort them by roughing the edges of it. And then also give it a darker inside fill so it looks like it's the back of the denim. And then use my pencil tool and draw the fabric strands that would be on distorted jeans. I prefer using the pencil tool here versus the pen tool because I feel like it gives me a more organic way of working. But you can use the pencil tool as well, or if you have a Wacom tablet, that can do a lot of good work for you as well. Some more distressing. I'm gonna copy and paste the hole I made and just kind of change the shape a little bit. You don't just want to copy and paste it exactly, since that's not natural. When you distress jeans, no one is going to be the same. But by changing it up a little bit, you can create new artwork that are similar but not the same.